Hello class, this is your instructor, Miss Wankwala. I wanted to give you all a video on some common public speaking and presentation mistakes that I have seen from students over the years that I've taught. I'm hoping to help you pay attention to these things when you're doing your speech recording because I want you to get a good grade on these speeches and also some things to keep in mind. Of course, you always need to go through your course content to go over the speeches and the speech rules. I give a plethora of examples, but I want to just pull out some of the highlights, what I tend to see a lot, so that you can pay attention to it and ensure not to do it in your speech. So we'll jump right into it. So one of the things for sure is that why are you giving this speech and this topic? So I allow you to pick your own topic as long as it's approved, but I still allow you to choose. I just have to go through and see if it's approved through your thesis statement and if it's not on my speech topic approval sheet of what I will not approve. So I do suggest to go over that. That is in the speech course content, I believe, as well as speech help resources. I have an entire list of certain speeches that I will not approve. But once again, you still have to go through the approval process to ensure that it's something that is okay to present in class. But whatever topic you pick is your choice, and you should ask yourself, does it interest me? Am I knowledgeable about this topic? Will this topic actually meet the rules and expectations? And when I have time to even discuss this topic and my main points. Don't pick something that you're not excited about. It's going to be really obvious to your listeners if you're not excited about it. So pick something you care about because it will show in your nonverbals. It will show throughout your speech. Okay. So make sure to research it. Also, with your topic, research it. Give yourself about 2 to 3 options to make sure you have enough information to actually present within the time frame that I give. The next thing that I see a lot with it, well, we already talked about this, the topic of disinterest. That's usually what people will do. The next thing I've seen is people not practicing. I can always tell when somebody has not practiced. Okay, practicing is at least after you've written out your outline, and some people like to write their entire speech too. You need to make sure to practice either A, in front of the mirror, be in front of someone else to where you're able to actually get feedback. That's really the best way to do it. Or record yourself. But if you write this outline, write out the speech, and you have never actually practiced in front of someone or in front of yourself, it's going to be obvious when I do your grading for your speech as well. You need to practice going over your topic and what you're discussing because then it helps you to be more comfortable with the topic. And I'll talk about that in another slide, why it's so important to become comfortable with your topic. The next one I would do is not dressing appropriately. I understand that many of you are possibly doing your speeches at home, so you may automatically have your pajamas on or just whatever your lounge around clothes. No, you should be still in like business casual at least, or at least just a nice top and jeans or a polo and jeans, whatever it may be. But keep in mind, you're still doing a presentation, and I do grade you on dressing appropriately. So ensure that you are acting as if you were in class, giving that speech, not at home and just woke up and giving that speech. Okay, so keep that in mind. The next thing is not considering your audience. Anytime you're doing anytime you're doing a speech, you have to consider who your audience is. Consider the demographics, such as the age range of your audience. So usually within this age range is probably going to be around like 18 to 40, okay, within the class. You want to also know the education level. You all are in school, so that kind of gives you an idea of that. You want to consider that it's different cultures within your audience. What would interest them? Or if you're going to pick a topic that interests you, how can you make it interesting to them? So for example, if I know that I have a class that is full of 18-year-olds who possibly just graduated in college, I'm not going to do a topic on retirement. That's not going to really interest them. Now they're going to college, so maybe be doing a topic on scholarships and how you can get tuition-free books or waivers, things that they care about. So whatever your topic is, make sure that you're honing those topics or those outline points to fit your audience. Don't just go over things that you just think are interesting and that's all that matters, because then you won't be able to engage your audience. The next one is using filler words. Even I used one on accident in the beginning. The filler word thing is the like. You probably know what your filler word is, but what happens, we tend to find ourselves when we're trying to remember that next point, or maybe we've lost our place. We'll say, well, like, or whatever your term may be. Don't do that. simply pause. It's okay to take a pause in your speech and find your place. It helps a lot, once again, practicing, because then you won't find yourself really doing that because you've practiced your presentation. You know where you're going next. Helps a lot as well. Do not have your entire speech written out and you're reading from it. You're going to lose your place because it's too many words, it's too many sentences. That's why it's good to use note cards. It's good to use your PowerPoint, which is mandatory for your speeches, to help you stay in line. But try your best to work on this. The best way to do this is practice going over a topic with yourself for 1 minute and try your best not to use filler words and just pause. Just pause in between, okay? The next one is not checking your video quality. I have to be able to hear you and see you and also see your audience in the beginning and the end. You need to ask yourself, did I do a full body recording of my speech? Okay, so the way it should look, it should be to where somebody in your audience is actually recording you and you're facing your audience and the video camera is there at the same time. So it's almost as if I'm sitting in your audience watching you give a speech. I should be able to see you clearly. The video should be clear. The volume should be loud enough. I've had speeches where I could not even hear the volume. Well, I can't grade you that way. And I will not allow resubmissions for these type of things because you need to check that before you submit. Do not wait to the last minute for these speeches. Do not wait till Friday when it's due or whatever day it's due to try to work on this. That's a really bad idea. I will not take a speech because of technical difficulties, or you need to prepare for all of that. Be prepared that this may happen. But ask yourself, can they hear us? Is it recorded from the audience perspective? And make sure to rewatch your link. After you post it, make sure that we can see it and that it's a good quality video. So ensure to do this. That is your responsibility. Usually some things I see, you forget to scan the audience. I cannot take your speech if you do not scan the audience. That is a requirement for our system. So what you have to do is scan your audience before you start. All right, or you can have the person that's recording you kind of scan the audience with the camera, whatever you're using. And then you have to do it at the end as well. You have to do both of them or I cannot take your speech. And remember the audience limit, it is on the course content and the speeches is for, and the YouTube help, it's on there as well with the rules, okay? The next thing that you need to remember is don't forget to use visual aids. It's a common thing that I see. PowerPoints are mandatory when it comes to your speeches for the informative and persuasive. Mandatory. They have to be there. What you need to do is that you can just attach it when you actually put your link up on the assignments tab, attach your PowerPoint as well. Some of you may have the technology to be able to connect your laptop to your TV and you're able to actually present to your audience. That's great if you can do that. I don't necessarily make that mandatory because I do understand it takes the HD cord, things in that nature. You have to have a laptop, but you need to at least put that PowerPoint with your link. That way I'm able to view the PowerPoint that you would have used for the presentation. But that'd be great though if you're able to do that. It definitely enhance the speech for your audience as well. But if you cannot present it to them within the video, then add pictures with it. Have pictures with you going through it. You can use a video clip. Some people use their laptop and do a video clip for, and you could just use your video, your laptop to present the PowerPoint, but it need to be in a way where they can see it and there you can go through with a clicker. And you could also have handouts. The next thing is sounding to rehearse. So if you have not practiced your speech, you'll find yourself just reading the outline word for word of your speech, and it'll sound very rehearsed. You'll sound like a robot and as if you're just going through the motions of your speech. If you practice it enough, and if you're knowledgeable on the topic and you like your topic and you're comfortable, you will end up sounding more conversational. It just sounds as if like you're just talking to a friend. Now keep the ethical portion on, you slang and things you shouldn't be using, but you'll sound more comfortable with it. Like I've taught this for years, so I'm comfortable to just kind of talk about it, and it helps me use natural gestures. So the more you practice something, you're just going to be comfortable talking about it. That's why it's good to pick something you're interested in already, or that you're already knowledgeable about, and that you care about. The next thing is not showing facial expressions. So if you are going through your speech, this is a good time to use the mirror that I'm talking about. See how you look. Do you have a totally blank face? Do you smile when you're talking about that story that you're really excited about? Do you actually move your words, you move your lips and actually pronounce your words? What are you doing to show that I'm into this speech and I care about it? And it'll help you use natural gestures. It'll help you have energy. It will also help you be excited about your speech, and ensuring to fluctuate your voice. Fluctuating your voice, what that basically means is your volume changes, your tone changes sometimes. It goes up, it goes down. It just does things to emphasize your points. The next one is lacking eye contact. Once again, if you don't practice, you're not going to have a lot of eye contact, and that does not look good during a speech. You need to ensure that you're always looking at your audience. If it makes you nervous to do so, look right above your audience. So right above their head, and you can look back and forth on the wall. They won't even know. It'll look like you're actually looking at them. But you have to practice to be able to do that. You should not be going back and forth constantly throughout your speech, looking at whether your PowerPoint or your note cards. Those are only there for reference to help you just remember, oh, this is my next main point. Just want to make sure I was on course. Practice, practice, practice. That's the main thing. You should not be reading your entire speech. Okay, I will take off a ton of points for that. First of all, think about your audience. Would that bore you? Ask yourself, the speech that I'm giving and the way I'm presenting, would I be bored if I was in the audience? Ask yourself that. And if you would be bored, you need to adjust something in your speech. But you should not be reading. That is an oral report when you just read something word from word. This is a speech. Okay, you should be engaging your audience. So when it comes to dealing with anxiety and nervousness, I get that that's really why people fear public speaking and why people try to take it online sometimes too. And that's normal. No, it goes away in those first 30 seconds. It's okay to be nervous because, I mean, you care. You want to do well. You want people to like your speech, and that's a good thing. But use that energy for good. Make sure that you practice. Make sure you find a topic that's interesting. Make sure to have nonverbals. What's the word I'm looking for? Visual aids. Sorry about that. So make sure to have visual aids when it comes to your speech. Put some time and effort into this. I promise you, I will be able to notice if you actually care about it and if you try. But it's normal. You feel nervous. It's okay. The more and more you get comfortable with your speech and the more you talk during your presentation, you'll just get used to it and comfortable. Realize that we all in this together. We all are still learning as well. And keep in mind, too, you can't please everybody. Okay? Even when I do speeches, everyone isn't going to like my speech. That's okay. All right? That's normal. But the majority, if I do what I need to do on my end and keeping up with the audience and the tips I've gone over, the good majority will like it and they'll give you the eye contact. But do your part to engage them as well. One thing I see as well, people not citing sources orally. You not only need to put your your cited sources in your outline, you need to also have it in your speech when you're presenting it. What that looks like, according to USA Today from 2014 article, Ashley Gibson said that she found ABC and whatever your quote is. But you need to list where we got the source from and then the quote or whatever information you're giving us. You will see on your critique sheets that I use to grade you how many times you need to do that and what I'm looking for it as well. Not following the outline. All of your speeches do require an outline. You need to go by that outline. That's how you need to be presenting your speech in that order. That's what I'll be looking for your main points. It also helps you stay organized with it, so you need to know that. All right, another one is what I always say, not practicing. That is the main thing. If you can have a great outline, have all these visual aids, have a great PowerPoint, but you didn't practice, it will show in your entire speech. Ensure to practice. I don't know how many times I can say that, but make sure to do that. Now, there are a ton of other rules and that in the Blackboard that goes for the speeches. If you go to Speech Help Resources as well in the actual Blackboard, I have a ton of stuff to help you with citing sources. I give you a lot of video examples in the speech tabs. Everything you need is within that system that I use for the course. Use those things. Do not wait till the last minute to work on this. It will show. If you want to do really well in these speeches and get a good grade, then you got to do the work. And keep in mind, you will use this in life. I promise you. You will use this in life, whether it's at work, in your personal life, in class, and it is really going to help you be successful. It actually has been proven that those who speak well and present well are usually promoted faster at work than anybody else because they communicate well information. So keep that in mind. As always, I'm here for any questions that you may have. Try to keep these things in mind as well as the other rules that I have on there. So keeping in mind all those visual aids, citing sources, making sure that you have a good presentation, and making sure that you also practice. I hope you have a great day.